you've been here for nearly 2 years, year and a half, you said? Do you speak Vietnamese?
I can get around. Yeah,
that means no.
Yeah, I've taken lessons, but I can't. Yeah, I can. If you drop me off in the middle of a place, I can figure it out.
That's impressive, because I've been here 4 years and I can barely say anything. So my question is, what's your most useful Vietnamese phrase?
Xin lỗi.
Right. Okay. Which, for anyone who doesn't know, means
sorry and excuse me. Sort of like the same thing. Yeah. The other day I had so anytime I have a really strong reaction to anything, like fear, excitement, sadness, my first thing to do is to gag. Like, it's really weird. Yeah, I don't know. So like anxiety, anything, I'm like, huh! So I had this, I called a Grab driver to come get me. I was having a little bit of anxiety attack. So he's waiting for me to get on, and I was like, and I was just like, one second I gave him a finger, I said, Xin lỗi, and then I just threw up. And then he was like, okay, so I'm turning around like, Xin lỗi, and I'm just going. But he waited for me, and he was super nice. Then we got on, and also con sao, just like, no worries.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, so right before we took off, he's like double checked. He was like, con sao? I was like, con sao?
My most useful one is com hiu.
Ooh.
Which means I don't understand.
Yeah.
Which, when I learned that, was like life-changing.
Yeah.
I can just tell people, I'm like, I don't understand, which I feel bad about.
Ben you.
What's that mean?
How much?
Oh.
I'm not very good with the accent.
Say it again.
Well,
Ben,
bao nhiêu.
Bao nhiêu, yeah. That's a really useful one. And that's probably one of the first things I learned. And I learned the money pretty quickly, or like the numbers. Mm-hmm. And still to this day, I find it funny because I will ask bao nhiêu, which means I'm speaking in Vietnamese, and I think that means you could speak Vietnamese back and I will understand. But they'll speak to me in English, or they'll show me the number on a calculator, and I'm like, you could tell me the number. I still might not understand, but there's a chance that I might understand. Bao nhiêu is very, very useful.
Xin chào. I say hello and thank you in M. de Plum when I want to impress the women here, like, oh, you're very beautiful. And then I realize I'm not even supposed to say that to older women. It's only younger women. And I'm like, what the hell? So yeah, no.
Yeah, it's so difficult. So what is your most useful Vietnamese phrase then? Is that it?
Yeah, em biết làm, yeah.
Nice, that's a good one, yeah.
Right now, I ask this of all of my foreigners that come on the show. Can you speak Vietnamese? I'll take that as a no with the pause just totally said it all. You'll say the same as everyone else. I tried. It's too difficult. I can speak a tiny bit.
I am still learning. I'm now on my third teacher. It's going better than it's ever gone before. I can read. I have to sign a lot of documents. I've learned to read a decent amount of Vietnamese. I cannot pronounce the Vietnamese words well enough to say stuff without my entire team falling about laughing and throwing things at me. So I am slightly discouraged, but yeah, like you say, it's the old one. I'm still trying.
So what's your most useful Vietnamese phrase?
Not so much a phrase as much as a word, xin lỗi, which is sorry. And that's usually because I'm inept and I struggle to get through life effectively and without causing a nuisance. And I think also it's partly the English. I'm terribly sorry. You know, you sort of, like you said, you're going down a 6-lane highway and suddenly a truck does a U-turn, you kind of crash into the side of them. And I instantly think, oh, I'm sorry. Xin lỗi for me. I say that a lot. And I find with a smile, they kind of look at you like, you poor foreign idiot. We will go out of our way to look after you and be kind to you because, you know, you obviously need our support.
Well, this is only episode 3 and you're the second out of 3 episodes to give the answer xin lỗi. So it's obviously a common one for us foreigners.
It's always got to be something with food. So my favorite phrase that I would implore everybody to learn is cho em thêm một phần nữa, which means please give me another portion.
That's a good one. So say that one again slowly for the expats that are listening. Like expats, let's all try and learn a bit of Vietnamese today.
Okay.
Go on.
Cho em thêm một phần nữa. Did you get that, Neil?
I got cho em, which means you're asking of a female, right?
Yeah, so I'm saying it from my perspective, right? So usually it's respectful to assume the other person is older than you.
Yeah.
So you'll use that pronoun for yourself. So give me cho em thêm more, and then một, one, fun is portion, nữa, again.
I'm not going to repeat it because I'll just embarrass myself. So next question.
Oh man, this one was hard because I was like, how much Vietnamese do I know? And it turns out I don't know any. So so this answer is going to be terrible, but I'll explain why it's terrible and why I use it. So my most favorite, or not even most useful, but most favorite is MOI. And I find myself doing this when I'm in other places, like in Bangkok, when you kind of want to get someone's attention. I'm like, oh God, okay, different language. But it's just so useful, right? Like it's not considered rude to, like get someone's attention at a restaurant, especially at a restaurant where you need service and they're just like flat out ignoring you. They might have seen you, but they just kind of walk past. So it's a very, for me, it's quite useful. But the reason why I mention this is because a bunch of my friends had evolved this MOI term into what are you doing with your MOI tonight? Or oh, did you see that MOI over there? So that's how we use it. And it's kind of permeated across, different places, because I worked in a Mexican company. And now they all use it. And people from different places use it. My friend in Taiwan is like, who's your MOI tonight? And I'm like, I don't know. So it's amazing. We've used it and we've killed it. And that's why it's my favorite.
No, for anyone that's listening that hasn't been to Vietnam or maybe doesn't know what we're talking about, can you explain what is MOI?
Sure. So M is someone younger than you, right? Whether it's a guy or a girl, it's just someone that younger than you. Not super young, not like a child, but just someone that you deemed maybe younger than you, right? And Oi is, I don't know, I guess it's like adding an emphasis onto a certain sentence. Like, I'm very tired, right? And then you could add Oi on the end of it. So MOI is really to get someone's attention that's younger than you. So typically you'll say it, at a restaurant or trying to get someone's attention, maybe your mate that's looking at their laptop and you're like, MOI, and then they're like, oh, yo, what's up? So that is typically used in lots of different ways, but the most common is, at a coffee shop, if you want to get service, or at a hotel, at a bar, etc.
But the thing you haven't added is you don't say it, you shout it. Right? And this is,
yes,
even after being here for 5 years, and this happened last night. I was out with friends, and one of my friends, and my wife and I say this all the time. My wife is the funniest at this. My wife listens to all the podcasts, so she knows exactly what I'm going to say right now. When she calls Emma, she's like, Emma. I'm like, Adrian, you need to yell. She's so polite. And this is what my friend said last night, and I think a lot of expats, even though we know it's not rude, we find it really difficult to just yell out, MOI! It just feels rude, even though we know it's not. And we don't do it because it's as someone who's from Vietnam, do you have that shame, or do you yell it out, no problem?
I used to have that shame. I got past it, and I was just I just want to be efficient, and it's fun. It's actually fun yelling it. I don't mind it now.
So you understand what I'm talking about, though, right?
Oh, completely. Yeah. Because, if you're in the UK and you don't even want to cut, you just hold your hand up and you don't even hold it that high. And no. It's just this weird dance, right, that you're trying to do in a restaurant, trying to be polite. But I just love the directness. I love that. Yeah.
I'm kind of
hit a peak and then come back down. So yeah, I was in the beginning nervous, shy. Then I was kind of like, as I've been here, and I'm like, yeah, I can see it. But now I've come back down the other side because I'm more embarrassed that I've not learned any Vietnamese to back it up. So now I'm like, I don't want to like see it because I can't actually back it up with any Vietnamese. So yeah, the life of an expat.
If you watch my channel and this answer is straightforward. Everybody that watches my channel, you know I love oi soy oi bún chả.
So I understood the Zoi Oi part of it, but that's the northern pronunciation.
Yeah,
right?
That's the northern pronunciation of it. In Saigon, we say oi choy oi.
Yeah,
in Saigon, we say oi choy oi. So the thing was that I picked her up. I actually picked that up when I started learning Vietnamese. I didn't know anything else. But I always hear the ladies, especially the ladies, everything they just, oi choy oi. Everything they just say, oi choy. Then I went to the north. Then one time I went to eat bún chả. That was when I started making videos. I went to eat bún chả at the restaurant that Obama ate when he came to Vietnam. So I went in there. I was like telling them, this is I am Obama's younger brother.
Did they believe you?
It was a big confusion. The video is on my channel. You can watch it. So some of the workers were like, we were not here when Obama came here, but the pictures were all over the place. But the guy is whiter than you. How come? I was like, yeah, he looks like our mom. I look like our dad. And they said, you speak Vietnamese. Obama don't speak Vietnamese. I said, oh, you guys don't know him. The guy pretends a lot. He pretends a lot. He's my brother. I know him. He doesn't want to speak any Vietnamese, so you guys don't bother him a lot. Just don't worry. He speaks more Vietnamese than I do. I was like,
so are there still people walking about right now thinking Obama speaks Vietnamese?
Obama speaks Vietnamese.
Oi oi. Oh, it's, I guess do you guys say oi oi down here?
No, choi oi.
Oi choi oi. So
this is 2 weeks in a row. This is the answer.
Huh?
The answer last week was the same one.
Yeah.
Oi oi.
It's just such a good cop-out phrase, man. Like your driver will do something or you'll do something. Oh, I sound like such an asshole. You're a driver, like your taxi driver. You'll do something or like you'll make a fool out of yourself in class, or student will have trouble and just like oi oi and just diffuses everything. And it's like, all right, I'm out. You guys, I'm going to leave this situation.
So you've not changed to the southern pronunciation then?
Oh, no. God, you know how long it took me? 5.5 years of bare minimum work. Yeah.
Just to get ozoi.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it has to be the one where, the one I told you about, waking up early. The early bakers catches the money. I think that's always stick to me. It's just in case.
That's a good one. Can you give us it in Vietnamese?
Ngay cả thằng ăn mày cũng phải dậy sớm.
Đúng rồi. That's the extent of my Vietnamese there.
I think it's a very easy one, a very common one. But for me, it would be em ơi, chị ơi, or anh ơi. Like calling someone. I give an example why. Let's say you are in a restaurant and you want to order or you want to ask for the bill. In Switzerland, you would wait for the waiter to have eye contact with you or, and give them a sign and they will come over. Whereas in Vietnam, I wouldn't say everywhere in Vietnam, but most of the case, you have to make yourself seen. So
I want you to do it as you would do it in a restaurant. Go.
Em ơi!
That's not bad.
Because you know what happened? One time I wanted to pay for my food and I was sitting in this restaurant and this girl just kept ignoring me. And I was waiting for her eye contact. I was looking for eye contact. Give me eye contact. But it never happened. So I was just like, em ơi! And then she looked. And then I could finally pay.
Do you know what? I think you're the third person this season to choose that as your answer to that question.
Really?
Yeah. Chris said the same thing as well, and I can't remember right now off the top of my head. I think one more person as well. So very useful Vietnamese phrase, even for people who speak Vietnamese.
Yes.
Right?
I say đi chơi đi. Đi chơi is like let's go play, you know. Đi chơi. Đi chơi. There's not a real like cool translation for that. Đi chơi.
No?
No, I don't think so. Đi chơi is like when you go out to. So when you were like a small kid, you đi chơi is like you go play with your friends. When you get older, it's basically you go to the club or you go have fun with your friends.
That's cool.
That's a cute one, yeah.
I like that one. Đi chơi.
Đi chơi.
Nice. I'm probably saying it wrong though, right?
No, you said perfectly.
Did I say it all right? Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're like me, you may use your laptop at places where you have to use public Wi-Fi. This opens you up to digital snoopers. It's a massive problem. It can be your internet service provider, or you know who, looking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal trying to steal your bank passwords or credit card info, or even a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. These days, it is vital that you keep your data safe. NordVPN keeps all of these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites that are phishing for your data, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. And it's easy to use, even I could use it. I've actually been using NordVPN for years now here in Vietnam, and I'm excited to be an affiliate partner with them. I've used NordVPN to watch Netflix, BBC, Disney Plus with ease. And I also know that my information and data are safe from prying eyes, whoever they may be. Join now and you'll get 68% off and 3 months free when you go to my link, nordvpn.com/SMB. Just again, for those hard of hearing, nordvpn.com/SMB. The link is also in the show notes. I know nobody checks them out, but go check that out and you can get the link from wherever you are listening to this podcast. As an affiliate partner, it also means that I will get a small commission when you sign up, but at no extra cost to you. So not only will you be getting a great deal through 7 Million Bikes, you get a great VPN and you'll be supporting 7 Million Bikes podcast. Stay safe online and enjoy the shows you love. Any questions, just let me know. You know how to get in touch with me. And thanks for listening to this show. Cheers.